Hey there guys, this is Malorian, and this will be another Warcaster review. So during these, we talk about a caster, and we talk about its stats, its abilities, some of its tricks and tips, and then some units you might want to take with him. And today, the one we're going to be talking about is Gorten Grundback. He's a mercenary caster, he's a Rulic caster. For those who don't know what Rulic means, it's basically like the dwarf race that they have in War Machine, and he's been around for a very long time when there's a starter box for mercenaries, and well, for the Rulic, it was this guy here coming with some gun buddies and stuff, but yeah, we're going to talk about him. So he is only focus 5, so not very much, but you know, it's not too bad. Speed 4, so he is very slow. That's something to keep in mind. Strength 7, Mat 7, so some pretty respectable Mat. Rat 5, which actually matters for him. Defense 13, not the best, but Armor 19. That is a very good starting spot to be for armor. I mean, if you're camping your focus, you could be Armor 24. But the main thing is just it's hard to get past that just base stat 19. You know, the average of these, or the sum of these, is supposed to be 30. He comes out to a 31. So for these base stats, he's fairly solid. Command 8, not really a big deal. Now, he has 3 weapons. The first one is going to be a dual hand cannon. Now, this thing is range 12, rate of fire 2, so it's not your regular hand cannon, it's a double one, and then also POW 12. And the awesome thing about this gun is that you can go both barrels. It's a star attack, and really what you're doing is adding 4 to your damage roll. So it really turns into a POW 16 gun. That's a very, very strong gun. And again, he's not the fastest, but really he has a threat range of, well, if we don't even talk about his feet yet, we have a threat range of 16 inches. At POW 16, he can do some really good damage. And again, Rat 5 isn't the best thing in the world, but when we get to his feet, it makes things a little bit easier as well. Now, the 2 weapons he has, this first one he has his Forge Father. This one is a POW 14 magical weapon, and this one also has Critical Smite. Honestly, guys, Critical Smite doesn't really come up. Normally when you need to do this fun little smiting stuff, you need to be fast getting to areas. This guy's not exactly fast, so it's something to keep in mind that he has, but I'll tell you right now, it's something like, oh wow, this is a game changer. His other one is Gutter, which is a POW 9. It's just the thing he has at the end of his gun. And yeah, it's just a little bayonet, really, he has. Nothing great, it's only POW 19. But hey, what's wrong with having an extra attack? Now, if you look at his abilities, there's not really those past the weapons. It is saying that he's a Rulic Warcaster, and again, what that means then is that you can't just take, oh, I'm going to take the Galleon, I'm going to take the Buccaneer. No, you can only take Rulic Jacks with this guy. You could still get these other Jacks in his list, but they'd have to be with Gaston or something like that. This guy here can only run Rulic Jacks, and some of them are good, some of them, there's not really many out there. Of course, ever since we got Earthbreaker, that's a great thing to have. It's a really great Rulic Jack, and yeah, we'll talk about some tier stuff coming up here too. He has a good amount of spells here. I mean, not a lot of focus to cast these spells, but he has a lot of spells to actually cast with it. First one is Eruption. This one's a cost 3, range 8, AOA 3, POW 14, and what this one here is that it is a cloud that remains in play, and anyone entering or ending in this also takes a POW 14. You know, at Focus 5, if you want to do this, you're going to need to boost a hit. It's probably going to be a 4 focus play. I have never found this to be the answer, but hey, if you want to get a good range attack, it's POW 14. You could boost it. It'd really be taking up all your focus to boost a hit and boost damage, but hey, it's something you got there. Molten Metal. This one can be a little bit interesting. This one here is cost 2, range 10, and immediately it doesn't do any damage or anything like that, but the target Warjack suffers 1 point of fire damage to each column in the damage grid. So for most jacks, that just means, hey, let's add you 6 damage. Ting, 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 ting. So it's really just an automatic 6 damage across the way. It's usually something you want to get done. Usually, sometimes you might use it to finish off a jack. Where this can be really nice is, you know, if you're doing it to a Colossal, then they have lots of these. I've heard the argument that on whatever side you on, it'd only be that side. Maybe look for an infernal ruling on that one. But either way, this is something that's kind of cute. Normally, I mean, you don't want to get that close to Colossal anyway, so maybe that's not what we'd be doing. But for some of these other jacks, you know, you might want to be doing that to get some nice initial damage in there. Here's a really great one, though, you definitely want to cast, and this one's Rock Wall. Now, Rock Wall is you get to put a wall template anywhere in his control area. So that's only 10 inches, but again, adding a wall wherever you want is really great for defense. I mean, for him, if you're worried about being shot down, I mean, his base defense or stats then would be 17-19, could still be camping 3 more to be 17-22, so pretty solid stuff. Of course, you can always be using it to protect other people, to reject charge lanes, just to reject area to sit. This can be a very great anti-colossal spell, because just putting a wall down saying, hey, your huge base can't be anywhere on this wall, it can be a very big deal. So again, if he is doing something like the Earthbreaker is really slow for a colossal, but hey, if you're using that rock wall to really control where the enemy colossal can go, this can actually mean you're going to get the alpha. So it's a pretty big deal for him. Another very awesome spell for him is Solid Ground. Cost 2 self, range is the control, so just the 10 inches around him. And this one is an upkeep, so that's always good. While in this model's control area, friendly models cannot be knocked down and do not suffer blast damage. So yeah, if you're worried about Krios knocking you down, well, I guess you purify this off, but if you're worried about effects that would knock things down, if you're taking a lot of stuff, not usually Rulik is normally high armor, but let's say if you're running him with a bunch of Kayazi and stuff like this, saying that you're not going to take any blast damage is a very big deal. So the range 10, not that great, but the actual effect of it can be really, really good. The last one here is a freaking fantastic spell that I wish I had in Signar. It is Strength of Granite. It is a cost 2 spell, range 6, upkeepable, and target model in this model's battle group, so it can also be him, gains plus 4 strength. 4 strength. That is massive. This is where he might want to take like a driller, because drillers are a cheap heavy. They don't really hit the hardest. They have a sustained attack though, but guess what? If you put on Strength of Granite, this guy's going to be just crushing it. So this is a very nice spell to have. This is normally one that you'll get out on when you're jacks early and then be upkeeping it. Sometimes maybe not, I guess, if you're going more infantry, if you want to hold it till later. But again, if you hold it till later, then you have to pay that full 2 cost. So again, you normally want this one out early, and this is where some of those other spells don't come in, because if you're casting your Strength of Granite, upkeeping that one later, that gives you just 4 focus. Probably 1 is going to your jack to keep it going and running up. If you want to be putting out a rock wall, there's another 2. There's just not the focus to cast these other spells. So that's why these things like Molten Metal and Eruption, they're cute, but don't expect to be casting them a lot. His feet. Now this is the biggest thing about Gorten. Well, choose a table edge and a distance up to 8 inches. Enemy models currently in Gorten's control area are pushed the chosen distance directly towards the chosen table edge in the order that you choose. For 1 round, affected models cannot give or receive orders, are -3 speed, rat, and defense. And this is massive for a couple of different reasons. One, if you want to use this for assassination. So you can grab stuff, you can pull it towards you, and a lot of your stuff might be slow, but wow, this guy jumps up. And again, the best this is going to do is he's speed 4, so he's going to charge up 7. Then this is a range 10, so this is a range 17 type thing. You could be getting more from him if you take someone like Madeline Corbeau to get him moving an extra 3 inches. But again, pulling this stuff towards you 8 inches and dropping its defense by 3, yeah, all of a sudden that makes it a big deal. Remember where I said that it would be a lot easier to shoot things after the feet? Again, this effectively makes him a rat 8, so yeah, he's going to probably be hitting whatever he wants to shoot at. Now, again, for the assassination, what you might be wanting to do is actually clear things out of the way. Let's say he has a lot of stuff in front of his caster. Well, you can always line up Gorten so that he's only catching what you want to catch, and then you can be moving it to the side. Now, sometimes you could be having the problem like, well, great, I moved this out of the way, but now the new stuff just moves in the way. Hey, put a rock wall there, and then pop your feet. The guys over here will stop at the rock wall, everything else goes away, and you got this clear path to the caster now. So that's fantastic. Another great one could be going for scenario, where if you need to get guys out of the zone or away from flags, or just keeping them back, this guy gets up there, pops feet, sends them away. And it is a very strong control feat, especially that after this in the following turn, they are down speed, so they can't charge, they can't make orders, so they can't run. So it's actually really hard for these guys after to get back in. Again, the mitigating thing here is that he is only focus 5, so only that control area 10. Because of this, usually Gorten is trying to play pretty far up in order to get the most from this, and then after he's popped his feet, he's going to ditch and get out of here. But this is why usually, normally, he's doing like, hey, you get strength of granite, I'm going to put up a wall here, charge up to that wall, okay, next turn, same thing, upkeep, maybe give a focus to charge or something, I'm now putting the rock wall there, charge up to that point, popping feet, blah, 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 right? This is what he wants to be doing, is protecting himself, getting up there, and using that feat, because that feat is a massive thing for him. So, let's talk about some other stuff with him, and that's going to be the fact that he has 7 jack points. And 7 jack points is pretty impressive. Now, of course, now there's new Colossals coming out, and we learned that all of a sudden that, hey, you can actually be making lists with 3 Colossals. This guy is the father of this, because with the Earthbreaker, normally you can only take 2 Colossals, but if you take him in Seer Forge, which is really the Rulik contract, well, if you do this, then all of a sudden you're allowed to take +1 of all the things. So you can take 3 Colossals of the same type, so 3 Earthbreakers. And again, that's usually pretty expensive, but it turns out that when you have 7 jack points, you can fit all these guys in here. And you can run 3 Earthbreakers, and that can be a real trouble to deal with because it's all these Colossals. Again, it's a little bit of a problem because you only have 5 focus. Another advantage from the contract is you get an extra 4 inches of deployment, so you're getting those 3 Colossals right up there. It's very cute. It's also expensive because you have to actually buy, as I spin my camera, you have to actually buy these 3 Earthbreakers, and again, you're going to have some issues with the focus, trying to control everything, but hey, it's something he can do and something you should be aware of. Even if he just takes 1 Earthbreaker, again, that Earthbreaker wants to be trying to either shoot things down or to kill them in combat. Strength of Granite onto the Earthbreaker makes it insanely strong, and then if you're using the feat to pull things closer, so that first of all it's closer, and second of all its defense is lower, that Earthbreaker will just punch whatever you want. Or the Earthbreaker can just shoot it down too, right? Even if you aren't really using the feat to bring it inside range, the main thing you're trying to do is just drop its defense. So, boom, drop your defense. Hey, Earthbreaker, start shooting. Pow, 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 pow. And that can be a really big deal. So, yeah, look out for that. Some other things he can like to take, of course he's a Rulik caster, so he can take the gun bunnies. Those are his special little tiny jacks. There's one that has the shot, the little gun that you pay 1 focus to fully boost it. The other one does a spray. These little jacks, they're cheap, they're cute. The way where he likes them is that, of course, when you pop that feat, drop that defense, those spray ones can get up there and really just spray down lots of infantry that had their defense dropped. So that can be a very nice thing to do. Back before there was the Earthbreaker, even the solid shot ones were good because, hey, I drop your caster defense, all the gun bunnies shoot you, but now it's really just the Earthbreaker that they do instead. But it's still something, say like it's a lower point game, that can still be a way to go. I already mentioned that he likes drillers. That's a great one to take. The other Rulik jacks, like the Avalanche and stuff, not really. But sure, you can always give it a try. One of the things to maybe not get stuck in is, say, like, he's a Rulik caster and he has to run all dwarves. Well, you know, things like Forge Guard and stuff is great, and Forge Guard is slow, but when you're pulling things 8 inches towards you, those Forge Guard can hit, and at -3 defense, they're going to hit. But really look at him in other contracts. Things like 4-star, where he can be getting in there, and then all of a sudden, like I said, you can start taking Kayazi, you can start taking Eliminators, and saying, hey, no blast damage for these guys. And all of a sudden, like, all the options, right? Really look at what this guy can do. That's really what I did with him, is that I take him with a 4-star, take a whole bunch of different troops, going more for scenario, and then saying, hey, did you actually get into the zone? Nope, get out. Boom, I pop feet, push you away, and I just re-jam. And it can be very, very powerful. So there you go. Gorten, a lot of times you don't see this guy, but he is a fantastic caster, and now you know what to expect from him. So thanks for watching. Bye.